to see your beautiful people.
Yes.
Another week.
Yeah.
How's everyone's week been?
Yeah.
Good.
Good actually.
A lot.
Busy. Busy.
What's kept you so busy?
Bruv, I've been reading Lisa's comments on. I'll just be like, raw.
It was a thousand
Some real
comments.
extreme stuff. Some real extreme stuff, bro. That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
I won't even.
All I do is I'll congratulate you on your new endeavors in life, and
Thank you very much.
I hope someone had a dream about you the other day. They were saying that you were in Dubai. They're probably going to shoot me for saying this, and you went into a room and you disappeared and you didn't come back. So we were trying to interpret it.
No, I'm actually going to Dubai. Did someone dream that?
Yeah, I'm being serious. Kelvin,
on,
I know you're behind the camera. Kelvin, did we not have this discussion and we had different interpretations of what that
could
meant?
mean? Yeah, what could this mean?
I said death, not
So
No,
all
someone
of this
dreamt
happened in the
that.
comments.
Yeah, someone dreamt that she went to Dubai with someone, and it was kind of like she went into a room and she never came back. So we were trying to understand what it meant. So I was just like, listen.
So who's dreaming about me?
That's what
That's weird.
No, but then
That sounds
That's some
dodgy.
die-hard fans, you know.
but obviously.
When your fans are dreaming about you in
and
their
the thing
sleep.
is, the person that watched it said she doesn't normally dream about you, so it was quite
Seriously?
serious. But
How did you know this?
Because I was told.
By the person.
Yeah.
Does the person know Lisa?
Of course.
Did they tell Lisa?
No, they were.
So why are they so comfortable
pending.
telling you
Because
and they can't tell the person who they dreamt about?
Post-production. It's called post-production, mate.
Post-production from where?
So why couldn't they
You'll
DM me?
figure it out soon. But it wasn't a bad thing. But then someone else had an input that it was possibly, you know, they're taking a journey that they can no longer come back from.
Oh wow. Okay.
Anyway,
Do you understand? So we
to
will
be
Me
continued.
can come back from anything.
You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Yes.
right from bun and cheese. Bun and cheese.
Hey, but on a real level,
Yeah.
which is probably what I would love for us to
How many levels is there?
get into today.
All right.
Well, right now we're on level 2.
Okay, cool.
Right, level 2.
But
Interception? Was it interception? You know,
Inception.
Inception, yeah. So we're in the dream in the dream.
what are you going to say, Michael?
Do you understand what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about, but
I know what you mean.
It's just so irrelevant.
Just shut up.
Yeah, okay, cool.
anyway, so what for me was pretty deep is I've got one of my boys who works in finance. Right? He's been a stockbroker for a few years. And we went into the barbershop one Saturday afternoon. We come from a few meetings, and you know we were suited and booted, 3-piece suits, walk into the barbershop,
As you do.
and there was and you know what was deep? There was one kid in the barbershop who was, you know, I think it was in Catford, barbershop in Catford, right?
You went to Catford, Michael?
That's where my mate used to live. So anyway, I do occasionally go to Catford. You know,
Big up the Catford
that's where I buy my plantain. All right.
That's what he passes one day.
That's where I buy my plantain.
If it's not Mayfair, I don't want to know. Yes.
And so listen, on a serious level. So we went in, and obviously there's kids in the barbershop. And one of the kid comes out, and he's like, listen, I love your suit. So you go to a wedding, right? And me and my guy were having this conversation on a deep level that it's so crazy that there are kids in the hood who only see a black man wearing a suit when he's going to a wedding.
Wow, that's deep.
You know what I'm saying?
Deep,
So
yeah.
it begs, you know, we started having these conversations that it seems as if right now they're only role models that kids aspire to be like, because when they see a successful black man, it's usually in the sports or entertainment sector. And that for me is it's a hard one to swallow because I'm around a lot of successful black men and a lot of them are not sportsmen or entertainers.
Yeah, that's deep.
Yeah.
You know?
Do you know what I mean? So at what point do we start, how do we change that narrative?
Do you know what? It's interesting that you say that. I think it's
Because they're not public figures, so people don't see them to look up to them.
So how do we change that though?
Do you know what?
It's hard, that's hard.
It's because if you look at social media, which drives everything, it's easy to promote yourself when you are in the public eye.
yeah.
And a lot of businessmen probably don't have a personal brand because they're working behind the scenes.
Yeah.
So I guess it could be a question of, should it be that we have a duty to create a personal brand if you're a businessman? So maybe you should create some kind of Instagram page.
These guys
Because-
always want to be behind the scenes
Yeah, I know,
anyway.
they want to be
Yeah,
behind
they
the
don't
scenes.
wanna-
And there's a reason for
They're
that. And there's
behind
a
the
reason for
scenes
that,
and
right?
no one sees them.
Yeah.
It's tough.
So this has been my conundrum for many years. My background was in television. I used to be in television to a certain point. When I started doing a lot more in business, I came off TV because I no longer wanted to be in front of the camera.
Yeah.
But that's because I feel that you read a lot of shit about sportsmen and entertainers in the newspapers all the time. As a business person, you just don't want that. You don't want that right. You don't want that stigma.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this is quite the.
It's a conflict of interest, isn't it?
There are deeper levels to this because my mate lived in Catford. He had the nicest house on the road, and I remember saying to him at the time, I'm like, bro, as much as I loved, and he was one of these people where he was like, yo, I want to represent to these kids and show them that it's possible. He's got his Bentley parked out on the road. There's Nissan, Bentley. His house is the only one that's blinged out. You stand out like a sore thumb.
You stand out.
And I said to him, I was like, bro, there's a certain place that you reach where you need to move out the hood. I know that you want to. Right. So I said to him, bro, you want to inspire the hood, but you can't inspire the hood from the hood.
Being in the hood.
Listen to what happened to him. So he parked his car at the train station, jumped on the train, went to meetings. He came back at 11 one night. As he was walking to his car, he felt he was being followed. Tried to quickly jump into his car. They caught him at gunpoint.
Yeah.
They were like, "Give us your Rolex."
Yeah.
Man he had a long coat on, so there's no way they would have known that he even had a Rolex unless they had been watching him.
they've been watching
Do you know what I'm saying? So this is the point that I'm making. Yes, you want to inspire the kids. Yes, you want to show them that it's possible. But if you're showing them, they're coming after you.
They're coming after
you.
And so how do you bridge that gap?
So what my thing is, like, as much as your point was good, I just feel like you can't help everybody. I think there's a selective few of people you can help.
Yeah.
Now, instead of trying to change the mass, change individuals who can change the mass. Like, for example, in order to change a generation of people, it takes one person. Do you understand? You can't change 1,000 people, you can change one person, and that one person now can change his household.
And it filters
Do you
down.
understand? And it filters down. So, for example, like your mate, he had the right idea, but maybe the way he was doing it was the wrong way, because he was trying to do an outreach. Start with him.
So the problem is, this is the idea that we all have. But how do we go about?
For example,
executing?
if I've always said, if I had a son, it would start with my son and my household. Do you understand? And correcting that mindset. See, you have a mindset that's obviously been developed through your experience and also through your surroundings, right? So you going out and trying to talk to people that you can't relate to is the problem number one.
But that's the thing, they only think I can't relate to
No,
them.
you can't.
But I come from the same place they come
Okay,
from.
cool, but that's because we could be neighbors in the same neighborhood, but we're still gonna have different experiences.
Yeah.
I might never see you. Do you understand? And God knows what will happen within that time. So what I do believe is that it is better to start with him. Charity begins at home. Do you understand? If I say, all right, like, for example, I hope you don't mind me talking, like your daughter, for example, you're doing your best job to educate her, to make sure she lacks on nothing, and you change her mindset, and her expectations have now exceeded the normal. Do you understand? So when she now goes out there, she's now reflecting and showing off what she knows as the good way.
Granted.
Do you understand?
Granted.
So somebody that's not out there, you're taking in a lot of risks. I'm not saying that you shouldn't help people, but you need to, I think, tailor-made. You have to kind of be careful of how you impose on certain people.
I was sitting with one of my mentors this past week, and we were having a conversation.
Wait. You have a mentor?
Of course.
Okay.
I
didn't feel like I needed a mentor. You know?
Everyone needs a mentor.
You wouldn't get here without one.
True, fair enough.
So I was sitting with my mentors this week, and we were literally having this conversation. He is like the Prince of Africa.
Is it that guy that you put up on?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Freedom, yeah.
Oh,
That's
that's nice.
that's my friend's restaurant.
Huh?
The one in Colin in Ilford.
I didn't know Colin Mayweather.
No, you know the one that you tagged
with.
that was your friend with the watch
Yeah,
and stuff.
let me focus. So I was sitting down with him, and we were having this conversation, and he has this vision to change and inspire a nation, and he's building. And you know, he moved back to Africa about 12 years ago, and he has built a massive empire. He's now building about 200 properties a year in Africa, and it's changing. It's changing the narrative. It's changing the skyline of Accra, Ghana. It's changing
What drives him?
because he feels like I can't wait to inspire one and my kids and this and that. They see me, they're good. Just because of their proximity to what I'm doing, and they're so close to the light. Of course, you can't jump in water without getting wet. So they're already wet. But his thing is, I want the world to see it. I want the perspective of the world, the perspective that the world holds in Africa to change. And so he's taking that on himself.
That's a big weight.
And so we're having that conversation, and he's like, and I've been working with him for a few years now. And he was like, you know, what, you know, right now I'm doing this, I'm doing that. And it was such a heated conversation because he was like, listen, name me one black, nationally or internationally renowned black school.
I swear there's a university.
You can't name one.
No? There's a what,
You can't
university?
name one.
What?
Internationally
Internationally
renowned,
known.
internationally
No.
recognized school.
I can
in
stop.
in
I can,
Nigeria,
I
there
can
are-
stop you
in-
because my family hold a university in Benin,
It's not
which is global. It
internationally
is an
owned.
international
I
university.
don't know it.
You do. You may not know it,
If
but
you
it's
Google it,
internationally
what is it
well known.
called?
Igbenedi University.
Okay, I've never heard of that.
Okay, cool. But if someone Googles it, that's something that's been brought because
The point I'm making
maybe
is,
it's only
the
one.
point I'm making is, there are certain schools and certain brands that we immediately name me.
I understand what you're
Name me
saying.
a black-owned bank.
It doesn't come to mind.
It doesn't.
UTB or something like
These
that.
are all. These are all
Union Bank.
These are all territorial
Union
brands.
Bank.
They operate in
But
Nigeria
it's
and Ghana. And
Spanish.
the point I'm making is, he was saying to me, and I get the gist of what he was saying. He was like, "Why does this not bother you? Why doesn't it bother you? Why does it bother you that you just want to be comfortable and you just want to?" He's like, "Cool. If you want to be cool, you're cool. But why are you not bothered that the narrative of black black people around the world isn't changing?"
You see,
Just
I
like
get your-
hair shops, it's only black people own the hair shops.
Yeah, not
Yeah,
the
like
Indians.
this-
It's the Indians.
Indian people own hair shops. There's no
because
black
it's
people.
like, as black women spend more money on hair than any other
Yeah.
I saw the
race.
Asian
Yeah,
people
it's
own
not
hair
And it's
shops.
Indian hair.
Exactly.
The
The
establishment.
shops, yeah, it's true.
So why is
it's
black
time we
people
need to
not
step
owning
up.
hair
We need to
shops?
step
I
up.
think you just kind of hit what I was
It's a lot
going
of
to
work.
press on. to.
Seriously.
You see, for him, I don't know his name. His name's not.
Yeah,
cool. I feel like, although he's taken the weight on his shoulder, it is a big task to change.
If one person decides to do it.
Okay,
One person can't do
That's
it.
the point.
But then,
Exactly.
then he will inspire
No.
other people
He
to
will.
So
take
this is
part.
the conversation
You
we were having.
I understand what
Right?
you're saying. You can inspire, but what I'm trying to say is, rather than kind of, because I was going to ask you, the question I was going to ask you is, what motivates him? What is his real motivation of doing that? Because although you want to say, oh, I just want to do it because I want to give back to Africa.
It's not. It's beyond. It's beyond that.
So I
It
want to
is-
know.
it
I
is-
want to know. I want to know personally what drives him, what gives him that fireball to do that. You know why? Because then maybe you will understand his general narrative.
So the conversation that we're having is, I have to do something that is going to transcend my family, my immediate children, and see because you know what was crazy? I took my daughter to Ghana to see the Elmina Castle. The Elmina Castle is the last port where the slaves were transported out of Ghana. Took her to see all of that, and when we came out, as we were getting into the car, there was a bunch of kids that literally run into the car,
yeah.
and they were asking me for money.
As usual,
And
Jamaicans will.
I felt
Did you feel entitled?
I felt so enraged by that point. At that point, I gave them what I gave them, but I think I've got the video somewhere online. But I spoke to them. I'm like, listen, I do what I do. The blood that has been shed, the sacrifices that has been made from my parents and their parents' parents and our ancestors and our forefathers for us to get to the point where we are able to enjoy the freedom that we enjoy today. We travel from miles, thousands of miles away to go back and revisit that point and be like, yo, this was real. When we talk about, it's crazy because when we talk about the history of black people, We like to start from slavery.
I can't relate to that. I can't relate to nothing what
we
you're
like
saying.
we like to start. You can tell me why in a second. But we like to start from slavery. But we had a life before slavery.
Yes,
we
we
were
did.
kings,
Yeah.
right? We owned kingdoms. We were emperors. These kids have completely forgotten, almost been brainwashed into forgetting who they are.
So you think they're brainwashed because they're asking for money?
Well, if
I don't
you,
think it's brainwashed. I think
mate, if you,
what circumstances?
yeah, circumstances.
circumstances,
even Jamaica-
circumstances, I get it. But for you to come back down to that beggar mindset, there's got to be an identity crisis. Then you are not, because these guys are talented. Some of them had arts and things that they had done and all of that. They weren't trying to sell me that.
Yeah, we're just asking for money.
Where does that sense of entitlement that you've
know what
got
it
to
is?
give me because you've got it?
See what you got to understand is that if we're treading on that, then we need to eradicate a lot of the bullshit that we're looking at.
Go
Do you
on,
understand?
eradicate it.
So obviously I get your angle, but it's deeper than that in the sense of, all right, then people coming up to you, like Lisa was saying, it's down to circumstances. But if we look at why they've been put in that situation, all right, there's the lazy people and there's people that strive. Do you understand? Like you and me, we come from normal, humble beginnings. Do you understand? But the reality is my parents came here with the mentality that I was gonna get a better life here. Do you understand? So they've kind of come with that conditioned mindset because of certain, I don't want to name drop or whatever, because there's a certain thing that's been put there to make us like that. And until we identify what it is individually, we're not going to progress. Now they always say, if you want to attack a problem, you don't attack it from here, you attack it from home. Do you
But
understand
there
what
are
I mean by
people
that?
here who have
what I'm saying.
exactly
Alright, cool.
the same mindset.
Let me give you a mindset.
The only reason somebody is going to try to rob me
Yeah.
when they see me on road
Yeah.
is because they have that mindset.
They're lost. That is down to
That's my point.
They're
They're
lost.
lost,
Okay,
yeah,
cool. Like
poverty.
me, I was born here, right? I was born here. My whole bringing up was here. I lived in probably like Nigeria for maybe like 2 years, a couple of years of my life. Them 2 years of my life kind of made me kind of do this. Because I was split between Nigeria and the UK. This is what I call my temporary home. Yes, I was born here, but I don't believe I belong here. Do you understand? Now, I may speak the way I am because I've been brought up in their culture, their doctrines, the way they do things. Now, the only way I can change a narrative or the only way I can impact on anybody is not trying to, obviously there's the mindset of a lot of us is selfish findings. What I mean by selfish finding is do good for me and then I'll bless others. Unfortunately, that is for me. I don't think
there's
it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. But what I'm trying to say
because you can't help somebody else.
Yeah.
until
So what I'm
you-
trying to
you
say
are
in that
good.
sense is, the way I say selfish findings, I like to be. I wouldn't call myself a selfish person, but if I want to help someone, I need to make sure I am good myself to help you.
That
Because
is the
otherwise-
formula, 100%.
Of course, it's
Of
a
course,
formula.
yeah.
So what I'm trying to say, in order for there to be change, like even these guys that are that robbed your friend, they are broken. They have no identity. They'll have no form of standard. They have no form of structure. They have no form of belonging. Like I said before, in order for you to get somewhere, you need to know where you're coming from. Do you understand? There are a lot of parties that play that are too X-rated for me to talk about. But on the PG levels of things, you need to understand
Right,
that.
it's called Too Grown for
So,
a reason.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I want to talk. If you will allow me to deep into that, all right, cool. Now, I may look the certain way I am, but that's all good. I'm a spiritual person. Do you understand? I look at everything with an open eye. I don't look at just the surface. I look at the surroundings. You understand? And I believe that there are things that have been taken out of our control. Do you understand? To an element where we may not necessarily not understand until we are ready. In order to create a form of control and to destroy a whole nation, you have to infiltrate in a way and offer a service to a continent by saying, okay, cool, these people have nothing. They don't lack nothing. They have the yams, they have the normal resources. They lack for nothing. I want to create a problem in order to create a service. Do you understand? That's how they introduced guns. That's how they introduced religion. Do you understand? Right. Christianity was introduced to Africa by who? The Europeans.
Yes.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So I'm not name dropping, like I said, but this is what I know as my history. I choose, slavery doesn't account to me because I still hold my conch name. Do you understand? My name is so conch that I will never change it. But I hold that with pride. Do you understand? Because I now understand who I am.
Right.
Do you understand? So me trying to take a brother out and say to him, yo bro, Well, go on, G. Trying to talk to him on a level. It's a waste of time.
Okay,
and I'll tell you why it's a waste of time before you interject. It's a waste of time because I need to, in order for me to educate him, I need to strip him. And that takes time.
I get that.
Do you understand?
It
takes time.
I
His
get the
mindset's
point.
gonna be different.
I need to detox him. I need to put him in rehab.
100%. I get the point.
Yeah.
I get the point that you're making. I think I'm speaking from an economic perspective.
Economic, yeah.
Right? The point I'm trying to make is a lot of black people do not have a lot of. Number one, we don't have a lot of pictures of success that we see.
Why is that though?
I'm
Economically,
coming.
systematically as well.
So, 100%. I mean, there are several facets to it.
Yeah.
So what we wanna identify is what we can do to be able to strengthen that even more in the eyes of the general.
Which
in the
goes
eyes
to what
of the
you're
kids
saying
that are
more.
coming up.
Which goes to what you're saying more. In order for that to happen, there needs to be, like you said, there needs to be someone who owns a black media presence that is well recognized in order to give hope to people who might be lost. Because whatever is programmed on the TV is influencing us.
I get that,
Do you understand?
but that's the point I'm making. We are at a point in our lives now where we do not. In fact, young kids spend more time on the internet than they do on TV. And so a lot of that story is not in the hands of BBC and ITV.
Yeah.
No, but then
a lot of it is in our hands.
It is
So
in our
why
hands.
are we not telling our own stories?
Do you know why?
Do you think that there's an element of fear within the black community?
100%.
So it's kind
Hell
of
yeah.
like, I know people who make money, but always say, I'm broke. Because they don't want people to know that they have money out of fear that they will be robbed.
Maybe they run the
Or
time.
they might
out
just
of
be
fear-
tight or...
Out of fear that someone will always ask them
To borrow or
Yeah.
give or
So
yeah,
is it
yeah.
that there's a lot of people who want to be in the shadows?
I mean, I can appreciate that.
Do you think that is why a lot of these businessmen, black
We're
businessmen
skeptical.
and black women,
We're skeptical.
are scared about putting their foot forward and saying, I'm making
yes.
money out of fear? And is that why? Is that why?
Do you know-
Yes,
Is that
I
the
agree.
problem?
Because what started this conversation with my mentor is because for the longest time, he had been saying, and I was having a chat with one of my business partners this week, that you know what, this is the year where we have to make a transition more into that territory. Because he was saying to me, he was like, yo, what else do you have to do over here that you can't complete back home so that we can see more of, you can build more of that? And I said to him earlier this year, yeah, I've been doing, my businesses and all of that. But 2 years ago, I actually started doing property development in the UK. I had started building executive homes, beautiful
Yeah,
executive.
but that's not helping the poor. That's not helping the poverty.
The point,
Because we're talking about helping the...
well, the thing is,
you know,
if you talk about helping,
yeah, we're not-
I needed builders to work. I needed people. I needed
And so
people.
you get
People. This is the only thing you
To
can
help,
only
yeah.
right. You
What
can
about
only,
starting charities? That's one thing they could do.
So that's okay.
Yeah, so going back to the topic about, is it that the successful people that we see within our black community, are they sports stars and celebrities? And I think, yeah. Because when I think about the successful black women who I would look up to, a lot of them are in the media. So I do think that maybe black women who are in business should create more of a personal brand for themselves, because how else are we going to see them?
A lot of them people don't want to be personally known, though.
Well, I think
They like to be
they
behind the
have
scenes.
to.
There's
They don't
so
want
many
to put
people.
their
I think
personal stuff
this is the
online.
point. This is the point that I was making. That the more that I have done, what I have had, even though I'm not publicizing that, I have had investigations started on me as opposed to being praised for what I'm doing.
Yeah, people want to
Do you see what I'm
start
saying?
digging into
Like
it.
that's the and what I was saying to my guy this week is,
So
yo,
people from your own
I'm
race?
tired.
Do you think it's people from your own race
It's
that
not
wanna
necessarily.
dig into
It's
you,
not
or-
necessarily even people from my own race, but just the institutions that be. Because I was complaining to him that, yo, I'm fed up of the system, because I started doing some stuff that is bettering. Yo, if a black boy from Croydon starts doing property development, that's a major thing.
Go back to your
But
country.
instead they
What
wanna
that did
investigate you, yeah.
was they started investigations on me.
Go back to your country.
We're already doing that in the country.
No, but
that's-
what you got to
Ghana.
understand is you being here, and I'm sorry to say, listen, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. There's who's that? What's the Russian president? What's his name? Putin, yeah. Now, for me, I'm all for him. I like he's a bit mad because I don't know his name, but his standards are very. Do you understand?
You really are for him, aren't you?
No. I just like, you know, people who hate Donald Trump and stuff like that, but when I look at certain people like that, I got to respect them because they run the country how they expect it. So, you know, this, for example, in the UK, I kind of feel like they kind of just, they're not really with a system. They just want to attack you, but they'll be smiling in your face. Whereas someone like Putin would tell you straight up, you don't want to do it like this way, get out of the country.
I think generally across many of these
but the UK,
countries, they are exactly the same.
But the
in
UK,
fact, bro, the UK is a lot more lenient. A lot more lenient. I'm going to tell you, as a black man...
But they sting you harder.
As a black man...
They sting you harder.
I don't know what that means.
They sting you in the sense, okay, look, Putin will tell you. So it's like you're expecting a punch. He'll tell you, I'm going to punch you.
Putin is a dictator. How the fuck are you comparing the UK to a dictator?
Do you know why? Do you know why I'm doing? Because at the end of the day, when you think about it, like you said, you're trying to make a living, yeah? You're trying to do better in this country, yeah? At the end of the day, they don't want you to do better. I'm going to be honest with you. They don't want you to do better. So that's why they create... Sooner or later, they'll start charging you for fucking air. The UK government like to smile because they need us to do certain things. They need our mother countries to do certain things to them. So they say, we'll accommodate you, but we're going to just still fuck you.
I actually feel that UK is one of the more lenient systems that allow wealth to grow.
But they're lenient. Okay.
And even as a interested to know though, do you have any black male people who have influenced you in your life, who you looked up to
He's
to
got
get
mentor.
to this point? Who's your mentor?
Is there a black man? I don't know.
Yeah, they've always been black men. When I was a teenager, it was my uncle who was a doctor, and so he was a gynecologist. So I was like, this man would. He used to show me his bank statements. I'm like, fuck it, I'm going that way.
Yeah.
So that's why I went to medical school.
Yeah.
And I got to medical school and I started to find myself, and I realized that was not the path that I wanted to follow. But I think I learned very early on that I need people in my life who I can aspire to be like. And
for successful family members,
anybody.
It's not down to colour for me.
If I find anybody,
it's not down to colour, but it's intriguing. I'm just thinking.
My mentor when I first started in TV was a white man.
Who's black? So maybe a black woman. So I can look up to.
I to this day, and believe with you as well, like with media, I think for me, my kind of. We can all do the Malcolm X's and the Martin Luther Kings and all the other guys that have been, rebels to some degree.
But they operated very differently.
They did. But I think I take all elements. But I think for me, who's more of an inspiration, maybe because of just the way he delivers things, is Piers Morgan. I kind of like his style, I like the way he does things. It's random.
Alright, this guy's cancelled. This guy is officially cancelled.
No, I'm not cancelled. The reason I like Piers Morgan is because at the end of the day you have...
What does he inspire you to do?
I like the way he addresses people. I like the way he articulates himself. I like the way he stands for what he believes is true. Now, at the end of the day, we can, I don't feel like, okay, I mean, like,
are we talking about politics or
yesterday I was watching the Malcolm X documentary about one guy that spent his whole life watching, investigating the death behind it. And to some degree, it was very inspirational, but I was looking into Malcolm X, because iconically, everybody that's black, who's a rebel or wants to stand up for themselves, looks and reverts to Malcolm X as a form of, like a token inspiration, but not me.
I respect him,
but after watching that, I was like, this is not the life for me. You understand? This is not the way I want to do things.
We're in a different era.
We are in a different era, but we have to also look
thankfully because of those people.
Yeah. I don't think it's thankfully because of people. I feel like things have just changed.
You can never say that. You will be...
No.
Your black heart will be revoked.
No, listen, because if I'm talking about... If you want to talk like, actually, like we just said earlier on that there are certain people that put themselves in the limelight that think they've done change. I would say that Malcolm X I could say Malcolm X is just a dummy. He got shot. He said
that will show how much of a dummy you are.
No, not necessarily, because there's people.
You don't know what
there's people before there's me and you, right? There's someone behind me that pumps me with information. There's someone behind you that pumps. You even said you got a mentor, right? Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
Malcolm X had the Brother of Islam or whatever behind him before he kind of evaded and did his own thing.
Right.
So what I'm trying to say is that I don't necessarily.
But what was wrong with that?
See, after hearing what he said, I'm not saying he didn't do his part. Do you understand? He was just like a beacon. He was just that thing, but I don't think he did much. I'll be honest with you. I don't really
That's
think he
because
did
you don't
much.
understand much
I
about
understand
you
it to
don't
a degree.
I haven't watched it, so I don't know. I haven't
Choose.
watched it.
Yeah, everyone can
Stop.
choose them.
I don't really believe. I do get he was.
No, I was going to say I don't watch it, so I
I
don't know
do
much about
believe,
it.
yes,
Okay.
he had a part of how the things were changed. But really and truly, do you know, okay, this is what's gonna baffles me. You're in, America's a foreign country for everybody that lives in it, right? Apart from...
not everybody.
Do you
There
get
are
what I'm
Native
saying?
Americans.
How can you be making noise about changing it's not your country?
Because if you were born somewhere, you grew up in a certain...
Strip all of that, strip all of that nonsense.
Okay, see the difference...
Strip all of that nonsense. You want respect for the country that's not
I'm not
yours.
lying, I definitely did have this conversation this week as well.
Michael,
and I had a
okay,
conversation...
before you go in, let me just drop this to you and you
on.
can go in. Think of it like this. I want you to just think of it practical. Forget all the butterflies, the party balloons and all the confetti, yeah? Just think of it like this. I'm screaming, you're racist. But I'm living in a country that is not my legal or original home.
See,
who the fuck am I to talk?
That's the... Okay,
You
so
can still talk. Of course you
No,
can still
man.
talk.
I was talking to a black woman,
Yeah.
right? I'm talking to a black woman, and I have this battle with Americans all the time.
C'est la vie, I'm not
because,
talking anymore.
I have this battle with Americans all the time, where when I'm talking to black British people, it is easier for us to pinpoint exactly where we come from. Americans, not all of them are quite the same. So I always used to say, people would say they're African American. I'm like, yeah, where are you from?
Yeah,
And
they
they'll
don't
be
know
like,
their
"I'm
heritage."
African-American."
No, they
I'm
don't.
African-American.
And they don't
So
claim it.
a lot
They
of
don't
them,
claim it.
Right, a lot of them don't know that. So I had this conversation. She was like, actually, I've done my DNA, my ancestry thing,
Yeah.
and it points me back
Bullshit.
to... and
When you
it
see a
points
white-
me-
when you
Shush,
see a
but
white
I'm
person doing that.
still talking.
You seem
So-
confused.
So
Some black
they
people,
did-
I want to know, I'm part Portuguese.
so
you
they,
accept
and
it.
it took them back to being native Indian.
Yeah.
So they're saying, I'm not African.
What does it do for you?
I was like, all right, cool. I appreciate that. What it does for them is that when these people are growing up, their identity is tied to America. Because this is where they believe they belong.
That's where they're born.
Do you know what I'm saying?
So-
If everybody, if you just said, listen to yourself. If you just said everybody who came in America is not from America,
somebody
that
know.
includes the motherfucking
Yeah.
black people in America. They have just as much
Because,
rights
listen,
as the white
100%,
people in America.
100%.
That
That's
is
what I'm
true,
saying.
because
So-
I've got this black girl in line attacked me once, and she was like, "You yard, you Jamaican, you need to go back home. I was born here. I belong to this country." And I'm like, wow, is she for real? This sounds like she's been brainwashed. For that
So
black girl to
what
say that
is
to me, I'm
the
thinking.
solution?
Why did she say that?
So,
a black girl
so
Yes, she
if-
was like,
if
"Go
we-
back home. You're from
A black girl
Jamaica."
said it.
Why did she do
Yes.
that? Why did she attack you? Why do you think she did that?
What was she
I don't know, I'm
British?
trying to work
she
it
was
out.
British,
Yeah.
and she said
Oh,
you should go back
wish I
home.
should go back home. I wasn't born in this
It's
country.
probably just jealousy. Some people just want to say
So I'm
anything.
thinking,
nice.
is she for real?
So guys, all right then. So going back to the original subject, if young people, for instance, only see successful black people as being sports stars and celebrities, what
Yeah.
do we need to do? Because as you highlighted, there are successful black business leaders who aren't in the spotlight. So what do we need to do to
What
make
could be
sure
the
that young
solution?
people
I've said-
see
There's no
I've said it.
more
solution.
We can start by bringing them on this pod. How about
Yeah,
that?
because
Okay.
you can't idolize something
Bringing
that's all in
them-
front
I've said
of
it.
you.
Yeah, so we
I've
we
said
need
it.
to
Yeah,
put
it's not in
them.
front of you, so
I've
We
said it.
kind of need
So-
to bring them to the
You
spotlight.
kind of do it yourself, yeah. Like I've watched your Instagram and your empowering. Sorry, I'm a bit tipsy. So
Me too.
So I'm gonna struggle.
Epic.
So I'm gonna articulate myself.
Go on, get the inception
So
out.
I've seen that you've done videos, empowering women in terms of business and so on. That there is one of the biggest keys to changing a lot of those on ground.
Yeah.
It's like, you wanna stop an infection, you gotta stop from the root. So you empowering women to, think bigger, do bigger, and all them kind of things are what is gonna change the dynamics and how things are perceived. Maybe out of your immediate group that you're speaking to, there might be the next, lady MP. There might be the next woman who's gonna now own one of the most powerful TV outlets in terms of media. Until we start from we can't expect people from the outside to help us.
Yeah.
I
Do you
agree.
understand? Hence why I said charity begins
I-
at home.
I
But I
agree.
think also we just need to start from whatever avenues we can start from, because I remember the other day I was watching YouTube and I think I started on an Oprah Winfrey video, and then YouTube, like
Gives
it will
you-
give you the next video.
yeah,
It went into
suggestions.
Lupita Nyong'o speaking with Oprah about her book and how this little girl has curly hair, and she was talking about having it was something personal to Lupita about being happy in her own skin and stuff like that. And then I just thought, wow, how powerful. And I didn't select that video, but it came up and it really touched me. And even though it was so powerful the way she talked about the book and how that she wanted little girls to look at themselves and so on and such forth. I think there's so many different avenues, not only social media. We can write books, we can do paintings, we can do other forms as well. It's not always about social and
Would I be a bastard by saying it would be better for us to do that in our own motherland?
Yeah,
Well,
because I think if we take it back to our own motherland, everyone there has a sense of. We have a sense of love and
But the thing is, if you're already there,
you make the most of the space in which you are.
So I kind of think it's in the UK.
Our mind is broken.
There's not a
see, this is the thing.
You know why I say that our mind is broken, Michael? Listen.
So Michael, you don't believe in going back home to help the less fortunate?
I already do a lot back home.
No, but we all go back home, and when you go back home,
my mentors who are doing these things, I am partners with them. I help raise the finance for the buildings that are going on there. So I've been doing business in Africa for the past 7 years. In fact, I live in the UK, but about 70% of my income comes from Africa. So I am heavily involved in Africa.
Right.
The point I am making is this. Africa is the only continent in the world where a white man can be African. Right? I have friends who are from South Africa who are white and they are African. You understand? There is nobody black person in any European country who can say that they are whatever without qualifying it. They don't call themselves white Africans. Them motherfuckers call themselves Africans. So the point I am making is everybody migrating back home is not the solution. Yes, we can continue to influence and build what we're doing there. But how you get domination is by infiltrating the whole system. These motherfuckers who own the systems, De Beers, I don't know if you've heard of De Beers. It's the biggest diamond company. They're the biggest diamond company in the world. They are South African, and they're a white family. There have been billionaires in their families for years to come. You know how they did that? They infiltrated the motherfucking system. You understand? And so you being here, we have been planted here for a reason. The idea is not to migrate. The idea is to infiltrate the system and create a strong economy that serves us.
But you know, in order for there to be a form of, you say infiltrate. I like the way that you said infiltrate.
I was going to say that's why it's important that we infiltrate different. That's what I'm saying. Not just social media. We need to go in at different every avenue we can. We need to just be.
And more than ever, I feel like we are doing that.
Fine,
but that's important.
We just don't see it on TV.
But fair enough. But then, see, I think put it in a percentage. There are going to be 10% of people that want to be seen of that, and they're the ones that we're banking our hopes on, which is the wrong idea.
Yeah, that's definitely a wrong thing to do.
Do you understand? If we're now banking all our hopes on the 10% of people that, for example, all of us not now, we are advocates and we are the faces of trying to show what successful, people of foreign nationalities look like. Now, if something goes wrong with us, then what are people looking forward to? Nothing. There are so many voices that are not heard. Do you understand? So that means that we all have the responsibilities and duties to forecast that information out there in our right source. But I am speaking now as a forecast and as a person, as a conductor, to say that not all the time when you're planted in a certain place, that is where you're going to make an amazing contribution. I don't believe my contribution of what I have to offer will happen here.
So what
I feel like I came here.
So what are you waiting for?
I don't think it has to be mentioned by this either.
See, the problem is when you enter, sometimes the problem, you may not have had this issue, but what I think is sometimes when you come into a massive setup that's already got so much going on and you try to infiltrate it, like you said, you end up sometimes becoming contaminated. You also end up becoming...
You're speaking in parables.
No, I'm not. What I'm trying to say is, all right, well, let me speak in layman's terms then, yeah? If I'm coming to the UK trying to make a mark, legacy. I want to create a legacy, yeah, for me, my family, and for future to come.
Right.
Now I have to look at the surroundings of what's going on, where I can make my mark. I'm a degree holder just like you. I'm educated to a certain degree level, but just because I'm working my field and I make good money, that's not how I'm going to make my contribution. My contribution is, okay, I want to open up gyms. across, yeah? I want to open up gyms, but I don't really necessarily want to open it up here. Why? Because if I open it up here, I'm kind of adding to what's here. I want to add back home, add here, but also leave
back
it
to my
left.
question, what are you waiting for?
What am I waiting for is, okay, what I'm saying that you can get lost is because when you're also born here, there's no, like, you got a mentor. We only realized that we needed a mentor maybe at some point in our life. Not a lot of people have mentors. I didn't have a mentor, so I got sidetracked. I did other things, do you understand? When if I had someone who was kind of guiding me, I would have probably come across my aspirations and things a lot sooner. Do you understand? And then I would have made. Right now, nothing is holding me, but I've had to I would say I've had to kind of mend a lot of wrongs. Do
you guys want to go back home?
Do you guys think?
Am I wrong for saying that?
Wait.
No, I don't. You're not wrong.
Do you guys think when black people scream, this country is racist, 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 is that going to help? I just think it just bring them to the news. Because did you watch Grammy shows with Dave and Stormzy? No, Dave, he did that performance
and then everyone
about racist.
Then Dave,
and it made it to the news.
Stormzy should go back to Ghana.
What word was it again?
It was some award just the other day.
Brits Award, yeah. That big performance where Dave talking about this is racist, that is racist.
Dave's from my place, Nigeria. Dave should go back to Nigeria.
No, I don't think
they're complaining. A lot of black people complain.
How can you expect?
Hold on, wait.
I don't agree with racism, but you shouldn't go into someone's house and expect them to change the way their house is.
I understand what you're saying. That's so true.
We don't need to just look at things on a one level. That it has to be on like a big scale. Because there was a lady I was talking to yesterday. She's one of like 2 people in her firm. She's a lawyer, and she's only one of 2 black women in that firm at her level. She said there's only 10 people that can do her job, and she's the one black person that can do it. In that. And I said, fair enough, that's not on social media, that's not where everyone can see her yet, but there's so many people, if she just even speaks to people about, they'll be like, wow, that's an influence to them. Do you see what I mean?
Absolutely.
So we do need to infiltrate these big places, even if it's just one of us in this
But what is she doing?
Because even I looked at her, I don't want to be a lawyer, but I thought, wow, if you can infiltrate that level to be one of 10 people that can do your whole job.
But what's she doing to inspire other
The fact that she's there, the fact that she's there, it's an
I get that, but if we're saying that we're trying to infiltrate,
but just you know,
we want to display that and give her hope.
I've shared it with you
How
now.
is she doing that?
So, okay. So,
I don't want to be a lawyer,
how
but
is she
that
doing
inspires
that?
me.
So then, what we do is people who have platforms should source these people out and continue to show more of her. Her job does not necessarily need to be hungry to be in the media. Just just the fact that she is.
Some people want to be
when I sit down with my lawyers, they're all black people in high places with doctorates.
Because
and
you've become comfortable
and all of
with
that. And I sit down and I look at them and I'm like, you motherfuckers.
But have you become you're comfortable with that, right?
You could be inspired.
Why wouldn't I?
But was there a time when you were not comfortable with that?
What? Comfortable with black people representing?
No, because they're black, so it's going to be happy.
No.
I'm not going to lie, there was a time, because I think because of what we see every day, like if someone said to me, you have a choice out of a European doctor and a black doctor, just because I would say, I'll be like, oh, because we have this, because we've been fed this.
You've been fed that.
No, we have.
Speak for yourself.
Let's not lie.
Yeah,
no, speak for yourself.
You have to only speak personally.
We can. Okay, I'll speak personally. Yeah. If we want to try and act like you don't see it, sometimes you have to look at what we're being fed. And when a black doctor wants to treat you, even people like Buhari, one of the Nigerian presidents, he could have got treated in Africa, he could have got treated in Nigeria, but he flew over to Europe to get treated. Now that says a lot about his mindset, because if you can't trust within your own people,
I want to talk about your mindset.
My mindset is that obviously it was fed to me. My experiences with black people as a whole have been mixed. Do you understand? But what I've come to understand is there's professionals in every sector. Do you understand? In terms of levels of grading, like you, I think you're a very professional gentleman. So I would approach you to a certain degree based on your acumen, not your color. Do you understand?
That's the point.
But there was a time when if I wanted to get investors or I wanted to do business or go into partnership with someone, the moment I see you, I would think, nah, I'd rather go with a white person, because it's been stigmatized that a white person is more successful.
But that's,
that's true.
But
the times have completely.
That's how we
people still have that mentality now.
And I
people still have that mentality
people now by
yes.
making different choices.
Yeah.
That's all we have to do now.
100%.
We have to make them choices, and we have to bring up our people. So when there is an option,
we do promote black businesses, but then black people let us down too.
When anybody can let you down.
I think we just have to make it normal that a black person can be successful.
and
And
happy.
just
And we
as
have
good,
to
just
normalise
as
that.
good as anybody
Yeah,
else, as
just
their
as
white
good.
counterparts.
So how can we normalise that? So for instance, you're
Going
thinking...
back to your own place and doing it from here.
No,
So-
Because you know when you do it here, you're always
because
at a
then
disadvantage.
No, you're not.
Understand?
You're
Okay,
not always
I get you sort of disagree with me, and I love that. But I just want to give you something to think about, right?
Thought about
How's
it,
everyone
don't
gonna
like
know?
it.
How's everyone gonna know your culture?
So if you go back to
How's everyone
Ghana,
gonna know your culture? What you can offer?
How
and
about I
everything?
don't want them to know?
If you just stick, well, if you don't want them
Have
to
you
know,
never
that's
heard
a
of like an
completely
artist,
different
Mackie?
topic.
Okay,
That's a
you never heard of
completely
an
different
artist?
topic.
We all know like an artist that had
We're
to
talking
leave.
about people who want other people to know.
Get what I'm trying to
This is
understand.
the thing is, I totally hear where you're coming from, but that doesn't really kind of tackle the problem that we
It
speak about.
perpetuates
Yeah, we're talking
It does.
about
So
It does
okay,
tackle the
so
problem.
well, hold on. I'm under understanding that the topic that today is about people from the UK, and so how can we get the black people from the UK
There we go.
to be like here, because if they are living here, they're not going to
Exactly.
go to the UK.
go home, yeah. It's
So
hard.
how can we raise awareness of successful black people in the UK?
That's what. That's the
There we
topic.
go.
back home to help.
And I feel that a great place to start is by creating a platform like this.
And a great place to
inviting-
start
Let
is
me
to...
finish,
Go
nigga.
on, nigga. Yeah, you go on. nigga.
It's by creating a platform like this, and inviting more people like that to share their stories, so that the public out there who are
100%.
only used to entertainers and sportsmen getting this platform can also see that there is more to it
And
than
this
just
is why I
just
think you're
sports.
tapped.
Yeah, 100%.
Listen,
I want to wee so badly.
I need to
I'm on
wait.
that point. I'm on that point.
and on that note,
Okay.
Thank you very much.
I'm not a
Because you might.